Hi guys, this is Kev. Welcome back to RPG Tools Kickstarter. Another video about some of the terrain. What I'm doing here is I'm taking an empty Dwarven Forge cavern and the different mine pieces that I've painted the ore, but not the mines or the tracks. And I wanted to show you what it's like to put the pieces here onto the dungeon. Now, before I go and do that, I want to point out that the terrain, the mine tracks, are flexible. You can paint them. I painted it silver. I used a hairdryer on it, and in my experience, the paint does not chip, bend. This is just a cheap folk art type paint from a big box store. Almost all the pieces are this rubber stuff. The four-ways are not rubber. These are hard. All of the different ramps are hard pieces, so as are the end stops. So let me begin. I'll take the piece that I painted here and just put it down on the terrain, and we kind of begin where you've got the entrance of the mine. We'll start off with put in a piece there, and again, they're flexible. You could put them either way. They do not work upside down. And we just kind of go. You could use either a 45-degree angle here or the straight. These are 45s. These are 90-degree turns. The difference between the two, obviously, when placed on here, this one's going at a 90. This one, when placed against the edge, is only going 45 degrees. And you can space it however you want. So there's a reasonable amount of flexibility here with the pieces. You can take your mine carts. The mine carts all have a hook on one end and a hole on the other, so they are meant to interlock either way. So you can take one and set it on there. As far as the size is concerned, I did not make it so that the wheels go directly on top of the track, which would be the most realistic. I chose to place them on the outside so that they stay in place on the game terrain. This isn't, a toy choo-choo train, so you really, as far as I'm aware, I've never seen anyone actually want to move their carts around. They would pick them up to move them. So we've got our next piece here, and again, like I said, they're all this kind of a rubbery, plasticky material. It might be better for a Y shape there. They do stay in place relatively well. The reason I did these in this rubber material rather than pouring them in hard plastic or resin is that they stay in place better. And if you're taking miniatures and setting them on there, you don't want to play or knocking your mine tracks all over the place on you. So they stay reasonably well with being this rubber material. And well, might help if I grab materials that kind of make sense, but let's see. You could do something a little bit larger, where if we change out some of the Dwarven Forge terrain and put in something like this, where the terrain is built in such a way that the riser pieces should have a piece of terrain on top of them so that you can handle walls, just like I have here, and they're not meant to go directly on top of the riser piece. So we could then put a track alongside and put in a few pieces. We've got a little one here, so if we find that we're off just a tiny bit, if you happen to have some of those, it depends on how picky you want to be, I guess, as far as exacting on your dungeon. Now we've got the bridge here, where the bridge would connect across. The bridge is just a simple little device. It's got overlap on each side, meant to sit on pieces from each side of whatever, might help if I leveled it, whatever you're going across, but it's strong. You know, you can take the gypsy wagon, for example, is one of my heaviest pieces. This bridge has no problems with that at all. You know, it's, considering it's just a little piece of plastic, it's strong stuff. Laying a track across it, well, I guess I would need a 90-degree piece to get around here. And you probably would want to choose your terrain that goes on top to fit whatever kind of tracks or mine you're planning on doing. The reason I did not make the bridge with a track built on top of it is I wanted a bridge so that people could use it for other uses in gaming. This way it can be used for the minecarts, or for just a simple walkway that someone has put into a dungeon, or, you know, whatever other case where you want some sort of a simple bridge. And we've got the minecarts are all built without the ore in them, and you just set them on top. But then when we take the ore is just a simple little thing that is shaped to fit into the minecart. So if we take another minecart and put it on front, and they fit everywhere, and we take another piece, we can connect them. Let's see, we've got the pieces for I forget what they call these things. They're like a hand car type deal that a creature is meant to be able to stand upon and push them up and down. It's got the same deal with the hook on the front and on the back, so it can connect up to the other pieces. And then you've got one that has nothing on it that's meant to just hook behind. So you're looking at you know, a potential lineup of them. You can throw your goblins on top. Your ramps all fit in any way. The end stops are built so that they're meant to stand on top of tracks. I didn't paint the bottom. Or at the end of it. So it's up to you whether you want to set it, you know, after the track or over any part of the track. For example, I could set it right in the middle of a track, and it's meant to go on either side of the pieces of wood and stay in place nicely. And it's sized so that an ore or a minecart would fit up against it either way, you know, as if it were a proper end stop, so it doesn't damage the track or the cart. So that, in a nutshell, is how the mine carts work. The ore, there's multiple sizes of it here, where we've got corridor blockers. These are the single piece. These come in the pairs, so that you've got a smaller piece and a medium piece. And these would be probably more the size of piles that you would find inside a mine shaft. These might be used to block a corridor at the end. For example, if you were using it here, you can see how I sized it so that it blocks a 2-inch corridor. Or if you've got standard Dwarven Forge pieces like this, you can take 2 of them to nicely blockade a corridor, you know, in any sort of a dungeon. So that is how the mine tracks are laid out and work. These are the 4 ways. Technically, it can go any direction. The U-shaped pieces The L-shaped pieces go up, L being a 90-degree angle here. And then the straight ones. So I hope that helps on figuring out how this stuff works and what kind of material. This rubber material is safe. You can bunch it up and throw it together. And I haven't found that they'll stick together very slightly, but not much. And other than that, you know, they're easy to pick out and work with. So, thanks. Have a good night.